Thomas, it's up for grabs now!
Magic ball from Bergkamp to Patrick Vieira!
Oh, would you believe it? Oh, right, what a way to get it! Well done.
Fabulous solo goal by Thierry Erling.
Hi. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. I hope you guys are well.
Oh God!
Apologies. There was a scenario.
Are we live?
Before.
Are we definitely
Yes,
live?
I'm sorry. I'll explain to everybody myself before you guys come in.
Oh,
So
really? I thought I was going to get the pleasure of doing it, but
yeah,
go on then.
no, you're not.
Oh,
So
I
I
thought you was
started
going to be
playing the
modest.
intro, and then the intro finished, and I started saying, "Good afternoon, or good evening, everybody. Welcome to Arsenal Lounge." And then I went on to speak to Tom. How are you? This, that, the other. And I realized we're not even live, and we just went through all of that for nothing. But this time we're live. Everything is good. Tom, how are you? You good?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good. So good. It's good to know that whilst I've been away, nothing's changed. So, you know, it's all good, mate.
How was your time away? Congratulations
Thanks,
again.
Yeah, it was really good. It was needed. This is the first holiday I've had in like 2-3 years. So yeah, it was a very necessary honeymoon, even though of course it was scheduled, but no, necessary indeed. Thanks for asking. How was the international break, boys? Was it boring?
Boring.
Oh,
Not a lot was happening.
Not much at all, to be honest.
How
Yes,
are you,
mate.
man? You good?
Oh, I'm
Everything
sorry.
good?
I've been crying of laughter. No, I'm good. Everything's happy days. Top of the league still. I'm top of the league still in predictions. So we're all good to go.
Yeah, we're gonna come to that. Just before we start the show, as I've been doing before beginning of every show lately, I just want to send out my thoughts and prayers to everybody in Iran that has been affected by the recent issues, and everybody who's lost loved ones. We're thinking of them. If you're wondering where Mo is away in Pakistan, I believe. He's there. He's doing a bike ride in a very long distance, I think.
He cycled to Pakistan. That's a hell of a
No. He went there by plane, but he's cycling from point A to point B in Pakistan, which is a very a long distance.
Point
for charity,
A not
to
being
raise
the
money.
UK.
Yeah.
He's doing it to raise money for people who lost everything they had in a flood. That has been. So I'll put a link to the GoFundMe page that he's doing in the description, and hopefully people can donate and help a good cause. I was wondering why is it lately I see him putting stories of him in the gym and everything. Makes sense now. Makes sense. Where do we start? North London Derby. There's no other place to start. Tom, did you go to the game, by the way?
No, I was doing the minute by minute from home. But
okay.
It was great. It was great.
What was your thoughts? How was it?
To be honest, it went exactly how I thought it was going to go. I thought we'd dominate the game. I thought Spurs would get a penalty. I thought we would win. I thought we would win fairly comfortably. And yeah, it was a joyous Saturday early kickoff, because it means that you can then just sit back, relax, and enjoy the rest of the football of the weekend. And boy, did we enjoy some good football and some bantering of Liverpool and Manchester United as well. It was just a great weekend. I'm sure we'll go into some of the details of the game, but yeah, I was very happy with how we played. I was very happy with the way in which we approached the game. Even more happy with the result, which leaves us, of course, top of the table. So happy days.
Very good. Lev?
I agree with all of Tom's points, other than the point that it actually went the way he thought exactly it would go. Because it actually went the way I thought exactly it would go. Predicting 3-1.
Okay, fair enough.
Oh, we're not going to hear the end of this, Tom.
I just thought I'd throw that one out there.
I meant the way the game played out. You know what I mean?
I know. I'm just messing.
I said 3-0, to be fair.
Yeah. I was just correcting you. It wasn't quite exactly. You was close.
Yeah.
But, look, it was dominant, which is what I liked. I did predict if there was going to be any kind of slip up. Gabriel was one I was looking at. He can be a bit rash. He does want to win that ball, so that was a little bit disappointing. But The way we reacted in the second half, I thought was brilliant. The way we dominated midfield, Partey was amazing. I mean, again, it's another display that we can count on where it's very difficult to even say who man of the match is. Saliba was amazing. You know, this Martinelli, unbelievably good. It was just good to watch.
Very good. I have to share the same thoughts as you guys. There was a few things that I picked up from that game. I don't really think Odegaard was that good.
Oh, again, man. Odegaard was brilliant.
We are 5 minutes and 50 seconds into a 3-1 win on a North London derby, and Shaheen's already talking about negatives.
No,
that's where we're at.
I'm just pulling your leg.
Unbelievable.
But do you actually believe that he wasn't that good? I'm asking you because I think you actually believe that.
No, I don't.
It wasn't loud. It wasn't a loud performance from him, but he was quietly very good throughout the whole game.
If I may finish, there was nothing negative from that performance that anybody can pick. Anybody. I am particularly happy for Granit Xhaka. I think he deserves the recent love that he's getting from the fans after turbulent 2 or 3 years following what happened in terms with the after the Wolves game.
He's got Player of the Month as well, hasn't he? Player of the
Month. Man of the match, Player of the deservedly so. Deservedly so.
Absolutely. I hold my hands up.
He's been one. To be honest with you, last season even he wasn't one of our worst players, and this season he's just kicked on to another level. So I'm very happy for him because sometimes I felt, especially in the last 2-3 years, that it was very easy as soon as something goes wrong to say Granit Xhaka is him. He's done. He needs to go. There's been incidents that he hasn't helped himself, granted, but I'm very happy for him. The confidence of William Saliba to knock the guy in his own 18-yard box is unbelievable. That guy he's a special. I can see that. I think everybody can see that he's special. We used to say Gabriel was, he's a very good defender. You can tell. If you think Gabriel is a very good defender, I think you can easily see Saliba is easily 2 or 3 levels above him. He's very calm. He's very collective. He's got pace. I cannot wait to see him and Erling Haaland because I think he's probably one of the few defenders who could possibly give him something to think about. Martinelli, very good. Jesus, very good. Partey, very good. Saka had a good game. Everybody had a good game. The atmosphere was fantastic. The tactics was on point. The team selection was on point. Everything was good. And people in the comments before you having a go at me, just I was joking with Tom when I said about Odegaard. So relax your batty before you start having a go at me.
Relax your what?
What?
Yeah.
What?
I saw that in a movie and I thought I'll use it at something.
What was the movie? What are you watching?
I'll tell you after.
Did I just hear that right? Did you just become Jamaican?
No, because I see some guys just having a go at me for nothing. So there is nothing negative that can be picked from that game, and it was all good. I was very happy. We've got Europa League now, so it gives the manager a chance really to rotate the squad. Maybe I think resting Thomas Partey is crucial, especially with his injury record. But what's your thoughts on the game coming up on Thursday? I just want to go through it briefly. Tom.
It's interesting because you've got to think about who you're going to rotate and who you're going to rest because, we've come off the back of an important win and we're going into a game against Liverpool that is a huge opportunity to show a real kind of statement of intent of what this Arsenal team can achieve. Last season we won this game 3-1, the Spurs game. So we haven't necessarily shown any difference, if you know what I mean, in this specific fixture. We did what we did last season, which is great. We have shown progression in other fixtures like Brentford, like Palace, etc. already this season. But the Liverpool game in particular is a really good opportunity to show kind of where we are different in these big games. And yes, I don't think the Liverpool team that we're going to come up against is the same as the Liverpool team that we faced last season. I don't think they're as good, which is ironic because I remember it's ironic because you remember having those conversations at the end of last season when we were all like, well, Liverpool are going to be better, Chelsea are going to be better, United are going to be better.
Good point.
We were all saying this. We were all saying, well, it's going to get harder for us, and actually when we look at things, Liverpool aren't being as strong as they were. Chelsea are going through upheaval. Spurs don't deserve the number of points that they've got. Let's be honest. They've been very fortunate to get the points they've got.
Awful to watch.
Absolutely.
I'm going to come to this Liverpool game. I'm going to come to Liverpool game in a minute, Tom. So
I'm gradually working my way around to it.
So just for Thursday, who do you rotate?
For me, I think that it's not going to be about rotating loads of players. I think that there will be probably about half and half of what would be starters and what will be rotation. I think obviously Turner's going to come in. I think Tomiyasu will come in. I think Tierney will come in. I think that one of the main centre-backs will stay. I think Xhaka will stay. I think Lokonga will come in and Vieira will come in. And I think one of the front three will stay, with Nketiah and Marquinhos being the other two. So I guess it's more like 70% of the teams being changed.
I agree.
But I think one of the front three has to stay. And to be honest, I'd probably have Jesus as the one that stays because he's one yellow card away from suspension. So he's going to miss a game at some stage. So why not use him in these Europa League games and get the additional goals? Because we need to win the group. It's important that we do.
I mean, the good thing is we don't really have a difficult group per se. So it does give us an opportunity to rotate the team, if they don't obviously mess it up. What about you, Lev? What about Thursday? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I kind of agree with what Tom's saying, to be fair. I mean, on one hand, we do need to make sure we win this thing or try to at least go to the latter stages of it. So it is a balancing act. And this is where I do worry about how squad depth in general. I would like us to add some, maybe in January. That's my concern if we get a couple of injuries. But as it gets more serious and further down the line in the contest, we might start using the better players like your Partey's and all that to ensure that we're going to win it. So then again, you risk injury. So that's my concern moving forward with it. But yeah, hopefully it should be enough. We should have enough in the locker to beat them.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's important that we do rotate the squad because on Sunday, I think it's Sunday, 4:00 kickoff, which is good because we're playing at home, so it's not away. It gives us time to recover for the Liverpool game.
I'm looking forward to seeing Marquinhos, by the way. I am looking forward to seeing Marquinhos.
He's done all right every time he's come in.
No, I think he's going to be something else. This kid, I see the way he moves and how slick he is and the speed he has and how direct he is. I see something in Marquinhos. I'm excited by him.
Yeah. Just a few talking points from the North London derby before we move on. Do you think the game was reffed properly?
Yeah. I actually thought it was one of the performances where I wasn't really looking at the referee. It didn't really come across my radar at all as anything I was annoyed about. I thought it was a penalty. I thought it was a red card. I don't have any complaints about really any of the officiating, to be honest, in the game. Not off the top of my head, anyway. Do you then, for asking the question?
No. I also thought that it was reffed properly. There's just a couple of incidents that I think, I don't know. I want to see what you guys think, right? And people in the chat, in the chat as well, let me know what you think. Sometimes I think Harry Kane is reffed differently.
Yeah.
And I just think, I don't know what it is. Is it because of the England situation or what it is? Because I think maybe it's a bit of a push, but I think Harry Kane could have got sent off on Sunday.
For the Gabriel incident, is that what you're talking about?
I don't think that alone. That would have been a yellow card. And there was a couple of fouls before that and after that even that he could have picked up another yellow for. I mean, it's a clear kick on Gabriel. I don't expect the referee to see these things, right? But normally VAR comes back and they look at
Not for a
these things.
yellow though. VAR won't get involved for a yellow.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. But it's a clear
He gets
kick
away with a lot. Yeah.
on the side of Gabriel. The ball is gone, it's clear, and he just gives him slight one before he goes on. And I just think, I could see the frustration in his play, but I was surprised that he was not booked for certain fouls. That he got entangled. I think he was told, particularly at halftime, to go and play off of Gabriel's shoulder because you could get under his skin. And he tried. There was a couple of times that they even tangled together. But I think Gabriel, he kept his cool and he didn't react, especially after that kick. He could have got up, react, and that could have been different. What do you think, Lev?
As much as I don't like the guy, I didn't end that game. When that game ended, I didn't feel like, Harry Kane shouldn't have been on the pitch. I didn't feel that way. I got to be honest with you. Like I do feel he's ref differently. I do agree with you on that. And my verdict with regards to the referee for that game is I didn't think he was. I think he was more lenient with Spurs than he was with Arsenal. I know we tend to have that feeling, but I just felt like it was easier to give us a yellow than it was for them. I mean, I saw a lot more niggly challenges from their end that wasn't punished for quite some time. But as for Kane going off, we didn't need him to go off anyway, did we? Dealt with. I mean, to be honest with you, talking of Kane, I will say this. The record books will say he scored another goal against us in the derby. But when I say to you, other than that penalty, did Kane really cause our centre-backs that many problems? I mean, think about how well Saliba played, for example. Kane didn't really get a kick in that game. So, it would, again, penalty, he gets a goal. Harry Kane.
Yeah.
I think we have to look at Conte, in this.
Oh,
as
awful football. Awful.
Like,
we knew, we all predicted that he's going to come and he will play defensive. He will look to get us on counter. But it wasn't even that. Because we all thought, we did a show with judges on Friday before that, and we did one before, and everybody agreed that he will probably play three in the middle because he wants to have that control. I was surprised that he didn't, and he just went with a normal system. So, I'm surprised that it wasn't the controlled performance from them that I saw against Liverpool and Man City, Tom.
But the thing is that performance is exactly why I think that it was the right choice that we didn't go for a short-term manager for this team. And I'm not. This isn't talking about kind of specifically going, Arteta's, the Messiah.
No. None of us knew what was coming.
This is about saying that Arsenal needed an overhaul. Arsenal needed we didn't need another Unai Emery situation. We didn't need an Antonio Conte 18, 24 months. We needed someone that was going to steady the ship, stop the slide, turn things around, and put us back on the right path. Now, is Arteta going to be the guy that takes Arsenal to their next title? I'm very doubtful of that. Even with this season going the way it is, I just can't see Arsenal usurping Manchester City at the moment. I just don't see it happening. Maybe we'll talk about title challenges a little bit later. But for me, Arteta was still, that style of coach was a much better pick than, say, a Conte, who would have come in like he has at Spurs, have an immediate impact, get them into the Champions League, sure, but he, in my mind, is going to leave them in a worse position, and they're going to have to get a coach that isn't as good as him afterwards, and they're going to be left with players like Perisic, who is obviously older. They're going to be left with Kane and Son now moving towards the twilight years of their career. They're going to be in their needs of an overhaul, and they won't have really, unless they win a trophy, have achieved anything. So for me, I think Arsenal went down the right route of going through that project phase rather than an immediate kind of attempt to win things now with a team that wasn't good enough at that stage.
Those players
can
are
I
not
just
going to
add
have
to that?
value either.
Shaheen, can I just add to that? I mean, whatever we say about Arteta and however it ends, one thing I will say, we can always credit him for gutting it all out from the core and changing everything from within and bringing in a better level of player that we look at now, the criteria of player, the style of play, a pattern of play. It's all in there. It's almost like a manual he's written for that club now. So, the way he plays clearly works. You just have to have the right type of players, and it's going to be tough against City, but he deserves a lot of credit right now.
Okay. There's a couple of other things. that I wanted to discuss with you guys. What do you think was the thinking behind starting Zinchenko in that place? Because me and Lev, we both thought that Tierney would be a better suit for this game. But I think it's now obvious, at least to me, that Tierney is not the first choice left back anymore. What you guys
It's a good
think about
argument.
this? What's your thoughts on this? Because it's a difficult one. I don't see Kieran Tierney as somebody that is going to sit on a bench and wait until his chance. So that could be a problem there. But Tom, I'll come to you.
Good question.
It is a good question because, you think about Tierney and you go back to 2019 when we brought him in. And we look at Tierney as going, he's one of the kind of cornerstones of the improvement in recruitment at the club.
Yeah.
And yet what's interesting is 3 years down the line, we're bringing in a player that's of a similar age that competes with him. And that kind of doubles down on this idea of the improvement in recruitment. Is we're not only adding a quality player to the team, but we're saying, no, that's not enough. We need another quality player that can play that position and keep these guys on their toes. But you're right in saying I think Zinchenko's the starter. And I think that's because he's more of what Arteta wants from a left back. Tierney wasn't an Arteta signing, he wasn't, someone that Arteta brought in. And if you look through the whole team, you can create an 11 that is just of players that were signed under Arteta. There are some that like Xhaka and Tierney, of course, that weren't. There are some that came through the academy, like Saka, like Smith Rowe. And of course, there's Martinelli as well that was signed before Arteta arrived. But certainly those younger players have developed into the players that are now under Arteta, to the level that they're at under Arteta. And I think we're seeing the best of Xhaka under Arteta. But Tierney's interesting because he's kind of a bit of an anomaly because he's alongside a Zinchenko, who's a different style of player. I was actually one of the people that said I would have started Tierney in this game because I thought he would have offered us more defensively, to cover from the counter-attack. But actually, why should we tailor the way we play to the opposition when what we do with our best team gives us a much better opportunity of just blowing them away? And I think that's when you look at the United game when Zinchenko started, we were punished on the break and Zinchenko was found out in behind. But actually, had we have gone 1-0 up, as I think we should have done, we probably would have gone on to win that game, I think. And we were just unlucky on that day, even though we played better than them. We were just hurt 3 times when they were clinical and we weren't with the chances that we created. So, but it's a good point.
Can I just put something to both of you? And this is what I think the situation is. I think, as I discussed this with Lev before, I think Zinchenko is a better footballer, but Tierney is a better defender. And what I've seen this season is when we have the ball, and we're going forward, I see Zinchenko coming into midfield, right? And he comes into midfield, and it's more or less as if it's another person that is coming in to compensate for Granit Xhaka going up a little bit, pushing up a little bit more. And I just think the manager feels that Zinchenko can play that midfield role a lot better than Tierney. That's why I think he's probably getting a nod ahead of Kieran Tierney. In terms of defending, I feel more comfortable with Kieran Tierney playing at left back than Zinchenko because I think his awareness sometimes is a little bit up and down. I've seen this that he's not aware of what is going on around him. But that's just my opinion. I don't know. I wonder what you guys think of this. Lev, I'll come to you.
Do you know what? I don't think this is a foregone conclusion yet because. It could only take a couple of bad games in a row for Zinchenko to suddenly lose his position to Tierney. And you're right in the sense of Tierney may not be as all-round as good as Zinchenko as a footballer. Defensively, Tierney is a better defender for me, right? And there were still times in that game against Spurs that I would have felt more comfortable with having Tierney there. But what Zinchenko does is he fills in midfield, and that's what he wants him for. It's great asking this question. Does it mean that Tierney has to move, for example? Does he have to go? Because we saw I saw a silly rumor going around in the Sun today that Martinelli was being looked at by Graham Potter. Imagine that, Graham Potter calling you. Graham Potter calling you, will you come and play for us at Chelsea? Oh, now if they had said maybe Tierney, I might have looked at that and gone, maybe he could be sold to first team football. Will he get it? Will he not? I don't know. But I think that this situation that happened, it happens at City. Look at City as a team. They've got people that are happy to fight for that position because it's City. You got to create an environment with Arsenal that you want to stay. It doesn't matter. You're part of the team, and being part of the team means that you're fighting for titles, etc. And that's if Arteta creates that ethos, I think everyone will be happy. They'll get I think Tierney will get plenty of games this season. I think they'll rotate him more than you think. And I think Arteta will look at it tactically sometimes and see that maybe Tierney's better for certain games, etc. It could be that, like Tom mentioned, when we go away to Spurs, he might decide, well, you know what, maybe Tierney might be the better option for this game. You don't know. So I think this story's not over yet for Tierney. I think there's plenty to fight for, and that's what we want.
Oh, of course. Tom, you agree with my analogy that because he's tucking into midfield, he's looking at him as he's better suited to play in that role rather than Kieran Tierney tucking into midfield.
Yeah, absolutely. No, Tierney isn't an inverted fullback, know. And actually, but what is interesting, and without doing a selfish self-plug, although that's exactly what I'm going to do. When I watched the Zurich game, you look at kind of the positioning of Tierney in that game, and there's a graphic that I used in a piece that shows you kind of how the position changes from the last game Tierney started at the end of last season, which might have been Aston Villa. I'm not sure. I think it might have been. I think actually, it definitely was Aston Villa. And then you look at his positioning in the Zurich game in comparison to kind of the people around him. Again, in the Zurich game, he's much more in line with the players on the left-hand side. Against Villa, he's much more closer to the touchline. And I think that he's already being coached with Zinchenko arriving to play this more inverted style. Even though he's not necessarily suited to that, I think he's showing that he can adapt. And I thought against Brentford, I thought he was excellent.
Yeah.
So there isn't necessarily any reason why Tierney can't still play, can't still compete. And, that's the thing about Arsenal now is that we've moaned and moaned and moaned about not having enough competition. We then get competition and we're like, when's they going to start? When are they going to play? This is a problem that we want. It's a problem
I wasn't
I'm not saying you are. I was just saying
it's so negative, Shane.
It's a problem that we've needed. It's a problem that we need to have. So, it's good.
Cool. Last thing I want to discuss with you guys before moving on from the North London derby. What do you make of Gabriel Jesus so far?
He's bloody great, man.
Lev.
Mate. a breath of fresh air. It's the first striker I've seen in years that gives me, it puts me on the edge of my seat when he gets the ball. You feel like he could do something out of the norm and create something. He's constantly a threat to the defenders. He won't leave them alone. He leads from the front. It's infectious. Everybody else is like that with him. They enjoy hunting it down and scoring goals. You can see it. And I love it. I think he's brilliant. He's been brilliant for the club.
Tom,
I can't really add any more to what Lev said.
I just want to give an observation on Jesus. I agree with everything that you said. And I think, it is a breath of fresh air and much needed in the club. I'd just like to see him take shots a little bit more. Sometimes I think maybe he overdoes the passing. I want him to just take a shot. And I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I wonder what you guys think, and people in the chat as well. Sometimes I'm looking at him and I'm like, take it, and then he passes it to someone.
But then, Shaheen, other players might not have got themselves into that position in the first place. That's the difference with Jesus. He could do things in tight pockks and get himself into
when he is in that position, Lev, like on Sunday,
always improve.
At least 3 times where I was like, take it, and I thought he's gonna, and he didn't. He passed it. I can't remember exactly where.
No, I know exactly what you're saying.
I don't know if you guys have picked up on this as well. This is not a criticism, by the way. It's just an observation.
Yeah, what I think is important to remember that he's on 5 Premier League goals, which is 3 less than what he scored in the whole of last season in the Premier League. And I think he scored 4 in 1 game for City last season.
Yeah.
The season before that, he scored 9 Premier League goals, which is just 4 less than what he has after the first 8. He is scoring at a higher rate for us than he was in a Manchester City team, which on paper, you wouldn't necessarily expect to happen because you would think, well, if you're playing the amount of games you're playing for City, you're going to score more goals because of the chances they create. You look at Haaland this season. I think that potentially the problem Jesus has got is that he's left City. He looks great at Arsenal, but Haaland already has 3 times the amount of goals that he has. And it's because Haaland is just on a different planet. Like when we talk, I think Jesus is a genuinely world-class quality striker. But the problem is that tag is so broad because obviously Haaland is world-class. Obviously Lewandowski is world-class. But it's almost like these types of strikers need another level of description beyond just the world-class tag because they are just on a different planet. And I think Haaland, Haaland's going to become the next Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi. That it's going to be the Haaland generation. Who the other one might be, we don't know. Maybe it's going to be Haaland and Saliba that turn out to be, the next generation.
I was going to say that, Tom. Someone out there must be able to stop Haaland. It's like a superhero story. There is somebody else. And
I'm very confident with Saliba.
Can it be Saliba? If there's anyone that can stop Haaland, surely I'd be looking for someone like Saliba. That's going to be interesting.
I'm actually looking forward to them coming Emirates or we go in there because I think Saliba will give him at least something to think about. It was almost at times I thought it was too easy for him against Man United. I watched the game.
It was terrible.
Yeah, I mean, Man United the defending was not great, but Haaland, the movement and his pace for he's a big guy, and his pace and his agility is it's as if
he's been made in a science lab.
I know, man. It's like he's been made it's computer made.
It's like Ivan Drago from Rocky. Like he's been made in a science lab, and he's come and he's just ridiculous. Tom was asking, what bracket do you give someone like Haaland? I haven't seen someone as dominating up front like this in a long, long time. Maybe when R9, the original R9, he was like unstoppable. I've not seen a kid like this, and the physicality for his age. What is he? 21,
22. I think.
He's a monster.
Yeah,
it's just like it's going to be very interesting to see how Saliba deals with him.
Yeah. So just moving on from that last thing, an overall rating for everything, the manager, the players, the fans, the atmosphere. Lev?
I'm going to give it a 9.
Yeah, I would have given it a 9 as well.
I would give it a 10.
And not a 10 because we conceded. That was
giving the penalty away, that was the only thing that takes the slight edge off it. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'll still give it a 10.
How great is it for the Emirates to be
everybody
like
out there who thought I'm negative, this and that, I gave 10. These two gave 10.
I love this.
I am starting to feel like the Emirates is starting to feel like home to the fans. It wasn't before. We didn't have that connect with the players and the fan base that we had at Highbury. Everything was close. Everyone was really connected. It's the first time at the Emirates for a long, long time I've felt this kind of. It does. Emirates feels like it's a home right now.
I think for me, like under Wenger, Highbury was Wenger. There is no denying that. I know that we won FA Cups, but we didn't win them in the Emirates. We won them at Wembley. It's slightly different. I know we won them in the Emirates era. Emery, of course, came along and nearly took us to a Europa League win, which is very stereotypical of him, because that's what he does. I do think that Arteta has kind of looked at the Emirates as an opportunity, kind of a little bit of a sleeping giant of a stadium. We watched the documentary. He jumps on the back of these trends, like with the North London Forever song. He tries to get the crowd G'd up. He always talks about the fans positively. Any kind of viral thing that goes on, you think less than a week later, they play the songs. The Saliba song, that was sung at the Bournemouth away game. Loads. But the Saliba thing in particular, that song was sung at Bournemouth. And within the next home game, which was less than a week later, they played it through the speakers at full time when we won. And then there's Granit Xhaka song that was sung at Brentford. I know it was also sung at Bournemouth, but it was sung really properly for the first time at the Brentford game. They then played that song, after the North London derby. It's that kind of momentum that they're trying to build. What I'm really intrigued is by Thursday. I'm intrigued by what happens on Thursday because it's a cold Thursday night in October against a team that everyone's expecting us to beat. I am intrigued how the atmosphere is because I've been to, Europa League nights against Vorskla and I've been to, Carabao Cup nights against Wimbledon and Sunderland, and it's dead. Like it's genuinely. I mean, Arsenal have been playing well during these moments, and it's dead. So I'm really curious how the atmosphere is on Thursday because we need to win that game. I'd be shocked if it doesn't because people are really struggling to get tickets for Arsenal games at the moment.
Well, there you go then. If it's sold out,
trains are the only issue for people right now.
Hopefully, it will be a sold out game. Let's talk very briefly, very briefly, because I'm just very conscious of time. Let's talk about this prediction table before we move on.
Very briefly,
because
right.
I'm conscious of time.
Okay. We'll talk about it very briefly. Yeah. Okay. Go on then.
So you predicted 3-1. Obviously,
I did.
Well done. Well done for getting it right.
No. Mo's not here. I've got no table now. No,
Mo is not here. We're gonna have to wait for Mo to come back. But I think.
Okay.
I think everybody gets me, Tom, and Mo will get 1 point, and you get 3.
Yeah,
that's right.
So it's as you were, really. I think.
Yeah, Lev's pulling away with it at the moment.
As you were. How's it as you were if I'm pulling away?
Well, because all the positions are still the same.
It's standing is like this, where I think Lev would be.
I would be on
14
and 3 perfect scores,
8,
by
7.
the way.
Yeah.
So,
and then Mo would be on 10, I'd be on 8, and you'd be on 7.
Yeah. So,
I should be on all or nothing for this season. This is just unbelievable.
Oh, it's gutting, isn't it? It's really gutting that it's not this season.
What a turnaround I've done with this. Hey,
when you quite finished, Lev.
No, sorry.
All right.
I love that I get away with interrupting you, and Lev just gets battered.
Should we do one for the Liverpool game?
Are we doing the Europa League games as well?
No, I think it's Europa League. We can do Europa, but I don't know what Moses is because I know I've asked him for Liverpool, but not Europa League.
Let's leave Europa.
Well, we're going to do a Europa bonus ball.
We'll leave
this Europa League game for this week. Maybe we'll do one for next week. Liverpool, Lev.
Ooh, at the Emirates, yeah. I'm going to go for 2-0 Arsenal.
Leave it out, Lev.
Yeah.
I'm so funny.
Throw that in, mate, will you?
Are you about to ask? In my head, I went 4-0. For no reason. To us, and I was thinking, I can't say that. I want to win, but I really want to say 4-0. I think it's going to be. I just can't not see them score, and they always score against us.
Yeah.
I'm going to go 3-2 Arsenal.
Didn't have Saliba play.
Mo has gone for 2-1 Arsenal.
Okay,
safe.
I was going to go for a Desmond.
2-2. Oh. You need to be different, to be fair, to start catching up.
And slightly negative, as always.
Yeah.
Have to tarnish that we've all gone for wins and he's gone for a draw.
But I'm between 2-2 and 2-1. So I don't know.
So why are you telling us this though? You've already said.
I'll go for 2-2. I'll go for Desmond.
It's done now.
Desmond. Right. Lev, do you want to do the Bizzo on this?
Wayne, thank you again for your support, bro. I can see a nice picture there as well. Is it me or are pundits twisting themselves into pretzels, trying not to give Arsenal any credit? Good point. I mean, it's the media right now, and I saw an interesting snip. I think it was Granit Xhaka recently, actually, responding to that as well, saying that it is true. Right? They do feel that they're treated differently in the media. There's again the connect between the players and the fans, and the way the team's feeling, the way the fans feel. We do feel like we're treated differently in media. We over celebrate. That's highlighted. No one else. I don't hear anyone talking about any other club like that. It's just weird.
I think it's the first time ever that Wayne has done a super chat, and there's nothing that he's disagreed with me on. Thank you, Wayne. It's a first. It's a first, mate. Let's talk about the Liverpool game because there is something else I'd like to discuss in the last 10 minutes. I watched them against Brighton. All right. There was that, as Tom said earlier, that definitely is not the Liverpool of last season. They were very sloppy. that were really poor, especially in defending. Virgil van Dijk looks like an average defender out of a sudden. Going forward, they're not great. I think Mane always used to do very well against us, and I'm glad that he's not playing. I'm very, very confident that we can beat them. I'm more confident in us beating Liverpool than Tottenham.
I would have loved to have seen, like, if I had a time machine a year ago to see Shahid saying a years later, I'm confident we can beat Liverpool.
Listen,
I just feel like I'm in a twilight zone right now.
Listen. My feelings and my thoughts reflects on what I'm seeing on the pitch.
Yeah.
1 year ago, this time, it was what I was seeing. What I'm seeing now is totally different. I'm not. I haven't moaned this season. I've given everybody credit, even Odegaard. And I'm happy with everything. There is no reason for me to be negative, because if I was negative now, it would be because I have an agenda. Because I can't be negative now. So
good point. Good point.
I said to you, I'm more confident about us beating Liverpool than I was about us beating Tottenham. Over to you, Tom.
I am not as confident like you. I feel as though, as I said before the start of the show, I was confident going into the Spurs game because I thought I knew how they were going to play. The thing about Liverpool is they're actually quite unpredictable at the moment. I don't really know what Liverpool I'm going to get. Am I going to get a Liverpool that battered Bournemouth, what was it, 8-9-0 in that game? Or am I going to get a Liverpool that drops points, that concedes easily? I think obviously we've got to target Trent Alexander-Arnold with Martinelli on that left-hand side. We absolutely need to.
That's if he plays him.
Of course, he may be dropping him for Gomez, or who else is an option?
The thought of playing Martinelli against him right now in the form that he's in.
Look, Jesus against Van Dijk as well is going to, because Van Dijk is. I watched them. That game was 3-3. Every time Brighton attacked, listen. I'll tell you something. Yeah, in the first 30 minutes, if it wasn't because of Alisson, Brighton would have been at minimum 4-0 up. If it wasn't because of Alisson, he made 2 really, really top saves. I don't know if you guys have watched the game or not.
Yeah, I did. I watched it. Yeah, I saw it.
If it wasn't because of him, first 30 minutes, they'll be 4-0 down. And I think with the form that we're in and the confidence that we have, compare that to the form they're in and the confidence that they have, going forward, they were not great. Salah was poor. And, listen, for all I know, they could turn up at the Emirates and they will just...
We should win. We should win. We should win.
The Arsenal of old would lose this game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now the Arsenal we think we're seeing at the moment, I'm expecting a result. And if they imagine the message it will send out if you beat Spurs and Liverpool back to back, when people have been questioning, they haven't played a top side yet. Right, and
to be fair, we haven't beaten anyone above us, Lev. We've beaten no one above us so far.
Yeah, well, listen, the belief it will give the rest of the team if they start winning these types of games. This is the next development of these youngsters. They need to experience these big games and win them, and know that they can win them. Do you know what I mean? So,
Can I ask you something? If somebody offers you a draw right now, would you take it?
No, not a chance. We can beat them, mate. We can absolutely beat this Liverpool.
What about you, Lev?
I want to win. I want to win because I know we can beat this team. I really do. I think we can beat them. I don't think they're playing great. They're a bit mishmash at the moment. They're not dominating midfield like they normally do. Trent goes walkies. Doesn't look like he's even interested going the other way. I don't know what he's up to. But their weaknesses right our wide guys are playing, it's going to be exploited, and I really believe that.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I predicted a 2-2 draw, but I'm saying I'm feeling confident about us winning.
That is a contradiction in itself.
It is, but because I had to say something different, take a chance to catch up on the points, man. But I genuinely think that we can go out there and beat Liverpool. There were nothing special against Brighton, and I take Tom's point that on a day they could turn up and play, and if they do that, they have the capabilities.
So,
of beating
Shaheen,
us.
then let me ask you a question. If that's how you feel, what's behind your 2-2? You say you want to catch up, so you've gone for 2-2. Do you just
Just
feel
the
like
fact that-
sometimes
just the fact that-
we might mess it up? We just got this thing. We might.
No, it's
You
not.
still got doubt?
No, it's fine. Once you block it, they still pop up, but they'll go. It's fine.
Yeah,
Don't worry
just
about it.
I don't know what.
Come on, Shaheen, quick, hurry
No,
up. Shaheen,
I
get it
don't know
off.
where they come from, man. Honestly,
Come
do you
on,
get those
Just
as well?
Shaheen.
They're bots, mate. It's
I'd like
what
to
it is.
you get them as
apologise
well?
to our younger viewers out there. Come
Tom,
on, Shaheen.
do you get them on your channel as well?
Yeah, all the time. Just block them and don't say anything.
Tom gets
I
more
don't
than
address
us.
them.
Yeah.
Tom gets more than us.
Anyway, I just think I gave a slight chance that Liverpool of old will turn up on a day.
Okay.
That's it. It had nothing to do with us, because before I used to say, maybe there's a chance that Arteta will fuck up the tactics or team selection or individual mistakes. Yeah, but no, none of that. The only thing is I think a Liverpool of old will turn up. And even if they do turn up Liverpool of old, I've still gone for a draw because I still don't think that they'll beat us.
For me, that's the only way we lose this game is if Liverpool turn up, because I think that, I don't feel like we're going to make a mistake with the team selection. I don't feel like we're going to make a mistake with the way that we're going to approach the game. I don't feel like we're going to make a mistake with how we, handle things or how the atmosphere is going to be or what subs we make. I just don't have the doubt in my mind. The only doubt for me comes from how good Liverpool can be. That's where it comes from.
Yeah.
Can I ask very quick questions then, guys, right?
Yeah.
Okay, firstly, what do you think is going on with Liverpool right now? Are they a team in decline or just lacking in confidence? That's one thing. Second thing, when do we start to think, when we can start to consider Arsenal as genuine title challengers? When in your mind?
Leave that one for now because we're going to talk about that in the last 10 minutes or so.
Just nick my question, didn't he?
But
just
no, because I said that earlier that I want to talk about that in the last 10 minutes.
Oh, here we go.
I don't know. I don't really. I only watched Liverpool against Brighton that day because I had nothing else to do, and that was it. And I'm not. Genuine answer, I don't know, and I'm not really bothered when they turn out to be shit. So I don't really have an answer. All
right, nice to know you don't care about my question. All
right. Oh, bless.
It's all right, man. It's all right.
Yes. It's all right. So I have some green tea, mate. Might calm you down. Tom, what about you?
Go on. That might be the funniest thing you've said. Go on.
Ever.
Go on, Shane.
Yeah, I'm waiting for you, Tom, to answer now.
I was laughing at the comment. Go on. What's the question?
The question, Tom, because I'm not allowed to ask the other one because he's nicked it to use later on in the show, is do you think Liverpool are a team in decline or is it just lacking?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. No, I did hear it. I think they're a team coming to the end of a cycle is kind of what I think. I think they're in desperate need of, kind of where we were at the start of ours. I think they just need an overhaul. They've still got some really good experienced players that they'll keep, like Salah, like Van Dijk. But, losing Mane has been absolutely detrimental to them. Nunez is clearly a very good player. Diaz is clearly a very good player. And those two are going to be kind of the fulcrum of what comes next. But you look at Liverpool's midfield, it is in desperate need of something different, an injection of some quality. Henderson is kind of, I think, that you can get better than Henderson. Thiago, a very, very good midfielder, but I think, again, someone that you can add a lot more dynamism to improve that position. Fabinho is one of those players, along with the players that we've talked about, like Diaz and Nunez, that I still think will be there for a number of years as kind of a fulcrum and become that experienced player. But I just think they've got to the end of a cycle. Now, is that end of a cycle with Klopp? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
That's the big question for me. Is it a cycle that ends with Klopp going, or is it a cycle that Klopp, after signing a brand new deal not so long ago, can restart over again?
I'm guessing so.
And where will they go if they do fail?
I think Klopp has got a lot of credit on the bank with Liverpool fans.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I think it needs to get a lot worse than what it is now for them to start.
Football's a killer sport, mate. Like you can win the league like Ranieri and get sacked after a few months. So you win the Champions League like Roberto did, So
I hear that. So we're all confident about us beating Liverpool.
Yeah, at
I'm
this
confident.
stage,
Yeah,
I'm confident. I'll be disappointed if we don't, and that says a lot about where we're at right now.
I think, listen, as Tom said, the only way Liverpool will beat us, I think, if they turn up on a day and they put a really good performance, which I don't see that happening right now with the team that is out of form that much. Last 10 minutes, this is what I wanted to discuss, as Lev raised that also earlier. Before I do that, can I just ask everybody to hit the like on the video? You guys have been watching this and it's only 53 likes on the video. It's ridiculous.
Stingy.
Sort it out, guys.
Stingy.
It doesn't cost any money. It's just a click, and that's the end of it. Also, can you guys do me a favor? I'm really this is just something for me. Do this for me as a favor. Can you put on the chats, or if you're watching this in the afterwards, just write in the comments, where are you watching this video from? Where are you based? I mean, are you in UK? Are you overseas? Just write it for me. I'm interested to see where you guys are watching us from. I'll start with you, Lev. Are we title challengers? Should we start talking about the title, or is it too early?
No, I don't think we should start talking about it yet. I just think we should just, like, I don't want to sound like I've had media training with Arsenal or whatever, but you got to take one game at a time, right? And just keep winning. If you keep winning, then you're still staying up there. I just think that's all you can do. But for me, not yet. No. Once, like let's beat the Liverpools. Let's beat, maybe, let's have our Man City head to head. Let's have that game. See how we fare against them. We need to know how we're going to, how that's going to pan out. But what I will say is, we're definitely going to be up there the way we're playing right now. Definitely. We were talking about top four, but who's outside of Man City? Who's better than Arsenal right now? Who's playing any better football than Arsenal right now? No one. I think Arsenal deserve to be talked in the top two in the Premier League right now. 100%. The way we're playing football, when you see the anti-football that Tottenham brought a lot. I know which season ticket I'd rather have. It's good to see again. This is like the Arsenal of old. We're seeing flair and dynamism and patterns of play. This is brilliant. So that's how I feel about it right now.
No, like I don't want to talk about us as title challengers at all. I think that City are unbelievably good, like stupidly good. And as I said earlier, we rave about Jesus, but their striker's got 3 times as many goals as him. And
he's a cheat code.
He's a cheat code. And not only that, but you've got a cheat code creator in De Bruyne behind him. It's the perfect combo. That pass, I know that there's the whole, if they had a taller defender than Martinez, maybe they would have headed it away. But, that pass for the Haaland goal is mad. And then if he's not there, they've invested in other players that can come in. Julian Alvarez, is Julian Alvarez, isn't it? The young Argentinian guy. He's really exciting. It's just a constant churn. They can let someone like Gabriel Jesus go to a title rival, and it doesn't phase, it doesn't bother them in any way. And to be honest, and whilst I don't consider us title rivals, certainly City and Guardiola will be looking at Arsenal as potentially their nearest rival this season. And he's always said that about Arteta, to be fair. Guardiola's always said that Arteta will, take Arsenal to these heights. But no, not until, for me, Arsenal have not been involved in a title challenge unless we're in touching distance come April, May, for me. That's a team that have challenged for a title, is that they're still within touching distance in the last month or two of the season. That's it for me.
Shaheen, I want to see that old rivalry. Like we used to have with Man United. We could get up there and we could have that Arsenal City rivalry.
You say that, but I was just going to say this. I think I will answer your question in a minute, but I think the worst thing that us as a fan base and those guys as a team can do is think about title right now, because it's way too. It's not even. We're not even halfway through a season.
No. Things can change fast.
And a lot of things can happen from now to end of the season. A lot, I think the difference right now between us and Man City, and I'm very honest, and I'm not sounding cocky or anything like that, is Erling Haaland. Imagine if they didn't have Erling Haaland. We'll probably be I mean, look, yesterday their goal difference is 20. You know, they put a chart yesterday. I was watching Sky. They put something up on the screen. I think it was the players who has had 3 hat tricks in a Premier League. I think Haaland after 8 games. The next one was, I think, Michael Owen after 48 games. That's just ridiculous. The best thing that I mean, YouTube said it best, that he's a cheat code. That's all there is. And I just think the difference between us and them right now is him. If you take Erling Haaland out, Man City will, you know, they always go through a patch that things are better. You know, they're getting a few injuries as well. Just his presence makes the other team worry as well. It's not just about him being there scoring goals.
He has to have a nemesis, Shaheen. There's got to be someone.
But listen, when you're going up to play Man City, or if they come to play, the opposition manager will look. One of the things that he will be thinking is, how am I going to control this guy? You know, and that might take attention away from some other players.
Mm-hmm. That's what happens with Saka. You know, Saka gets a bit, I think, overly criticised for having a quote-unquote quiet start to the season, even though I think only De Bruyne has more assists than him at this stage. I think actually it helps us that they put 2 or 3 players on Saka, because it draws attention away from Jesus and Gabriel Martinelli, who ironically have had the better start to the season from a goal-scoring perspective. And I think that's because Saka's being focused on, and so who cares? No, who cares? Because it's still. And to be honest, Saka was responsible for the creativity around 2 of our goals against Spurs. So
100%. And I just think Haaland. I think Man City are nailed on to win a title. Something major needs to happen in order for them not to win the league. I mean, I don't wish injury on anybody, but let's say Haaland gets an ACL injury or something like that, and he's out for a long time. That will affect Man City big time, especially if a couple of other teams start to, you know, Liverpool come to a better form. You know, Chelsea might come to a better form. It will start to affect them.
They did win 4 of the last 5 titles without him, though, to be fair.
Yeah, they did. But Tom, he's made, I mean, gigantic difference to them.
Yeah, of course. I think he's the difference between them not and winning the Champions League. I think he takes them to
That's what they really bought him for.
That's what they want. Yeah, that's what they want.
I agree. And I just think he's a phenomenal player, honestly.
Saliba could still be the one to stop him.
Listen, I'm very confident. I think Saliba can match him in terms of pace. I don't see that as a problem. I think Saliba is a
strength
better defender than Varane, certainly Martinez, and he's better equipped to deal with someone like Erling Haaland. I don't think they've ever faced.
No, I don't think so. He's the positioning, though, Shaheen. Like, Haaland could just go sit on Gabriel, you know, instead and not have to deal with Saliba.
And that will say a lot about Saliba.
Unless he man-to-man marks him.
Saliba is our best defender, you know, without a shadow of a doubt. And, you know, I still say that the loan last season was absolutely pivotal for his development, to play every single week, to develop areas of his game that weren't the strongest. That, like, defensively, aerially, he came on leaps and bounds at Marseille last year. Positionally, he was really good. You know, he still made mistakes. There was a goal, I think it was Lyon, that he made a mistake and they scored, and it cost Marseille the game.
United, his body shape was wrong. He got caught out, I think.
Make those mistakes on loan and come back to Arsenal. And yes, you're still young. There's still going to be errors, like as you said there, Lev. But you know, he is just, and now we need to get him to sign a new deal.
He's going to be a generational centre back. He's going to be a generational talent, that lad. Like we need to sign him up.
If I was a betting man, I think he's going to go Real Madrid. That's what I think will happen. That's my prediction of where
he is. That
go.
kind of defender, isn't he?
Come again, Tom?
I said if I was a betting man, I would put good money on him ending up at Real Madrid. That's what.
When?
Either next summer or in, say, 2025, that kind of period.
That right there, ladies and gentlemen, is another point that me and Tom Canton agree on. Because I 100% agree with you. I think we've again put ourselves in a situation with Saliba and his contract that he's now holding all the cards. And I think
Did we?
no, well,
I think it was always going to happen this way.
maybe they could have offered him something whilst he was on loan in Marseille.
Why would
because
he accept
right now,
why would he go, all right, then I'll stay.
do
Do you know what?
Why
Listen,
why
I
not?
understand.
And I
I
think
understand it.
hold on,
Go
Lev,
on.
1 sec, yeah. And I just think this January transfer window or summer, and this is why I agree with summer, is the last time that Arsenal can realistically get any money for him, because come summer it will be last year of his contract, and players lose value, this and that. So that's the only time I pray to God that they do something, because if Edu can sort this transfer out, sort this contract out, for me, all is forgiven. It's that big for me that we keep this boy. And just one thing before I come back to you, Lev. I watched him last season, and he handled Mbappe no problem at all. Mbappe couldn't outpace him, and if Mbappe cannot outpace you, there's not a lot that he can do. His game is mainly on pace. He will just outpace you, and then he's got time and space to finish whatever it is that he wants to do. So I'm quite confident when it comes to Erling Haaland and Saliba. Lev, you want to say something?
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to say something on the Saliba situation. I understand, and if you visualize a centre back that would play for Real Madrid, it would be Saliba, and you can see Real Madrid will probably have their eyes all over him.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe someone like a PSG maybe would look at him,
them
right? However, there's not many leagues better to play in than the Premier League. It's the atmosphere, it's the buzz that you won't get elsewhere. And he's going to experience what he experienced in France, but he's never really experienced this situation in the Premier League and getting this much adulation from the fans and playing in a team that's very much on the up right now. And if we're challenging, that could give him something to think about. If we're challenging at the top two in the Premier League, the chances are, look at Man City and Liverpool when they were challenging. Sometimes Man City could be winning the league, but Liverpool would be winning the Champions League. They were fighting for that top two position. If you're fighting for the top two in the Premier League, you're a top side. So he could be convinced to stay if we got to put the money down if we're serious. If we're serious about competing for the next few years, you've got to build your back four. You've got to build your stability on William Saliba. He will win you everything.
Yeah, I think if I was his agent, I would go to Arsenal and say, Eddie Nketiah is on £100,000. How much do you think my client is worth? This is the sort of talk that agent, would come out with, and he would be right. For once, I agree with the sentence of just give him what he wants, just sign him up, regardless. Because if you don't, he's gonna walk away for free. The clubs will put him on 500,000, like Aaron Ramsey. They'll put him on 500,000, 600,000 a week because there is no fee.
Shaheen, it's an investment no-brainer, right?
Yeah,
even if
exactly.
you get if you get 3 or 4 seasons out of him, and then what will his valuation be? Like, if you get another couple of years, his valuation is going to go through the roof if he carries on playing the way he's playing.
How much do you think he's worth today?
100 million easy. 100 million easy.
He's unreal. And I haven't.
You think
again,
100 million, Tom?
He's priceless. Like there is no price at this moment in time with the contract situation still up in the air. We don't know if he was going to stay or not. There is no price that I think would make me consider selling him. If he was to turn around, say in the summer, and said, "I want to go. I'm not going to renew my contract," then I would say, okay, Eden Hazard wanted to leave Chelsea with a year left. He went for 130 million quid to Real Madrid with a year left on his contract. So I'd be like, if you want to go, fine. PSG, Real Madrid, bidding war, off you go, and get as high as possible. I wouldn't keep him for the last year for them to see him go for free. I would sell him for as much as feasibly possible.
We can't do that anymore. To see him leave for free.
While we're on a high, we got to try and nail his contract.
Of course, 100%. How much do you think he's worth today, Lev?
Yeah, I'd have to agree. 100. Listen, if it can change really quick, football, but this lad is just something else. You could see it. You see your players and you think he's going to be top class. You only get a small percentage of those, and this kid is something else. Like when you saw Rio Ferdinand as a kid, for example, right? You knew that he stood out from any other centre backs you'd seen. It was just effortless for him, right? When he was in his prime. And then you see other defenders. He's just of that class. He's just something else.
Charlie says in the chat, how much did Fofana go for? He's better than Fofana.
Yeah.
You know, he's miles better than
Miles
Fofana.
better.
He was 80 million, wasn't it, for Fofana or something like that?
I'll tell you what, just so we can put that into some sort of context. Can you name a better defender in the Premier League right now?
No.
In form, no, there isn't. No.
I agree. So right now, his confidence, his ability. Look,
Maybe
that
Ben White
was audacious against that guy in his 18-yard box, man.
Yeah,
And look, he's made mistakes.
This
is despite the own goal he scored. He also made a mistake against United. We mentioned earlier in his body shape, he got caught out and the ball played in. He could have done that better. He's going to make mistakes, but we're still saying he's the best Premier League defender at the moment.
Yeah.
So there's room for improvement with this guy.
He is a cheat code of a defender.
That's what I'm saying. He could be Haaland's nemesis.
Yeah, I think the player of the month was probably between him and Xhaka.
Well, the way the pound is going, he's probably 150 million, I think, you know.
Yes, I agree. So we've been going about 1 hour and 5 minutes, which is more than what we usually go. Thank you very much for everybody who watched us. Please hit the like button. Tell us where you're watching us from. Put it on the chats, or if you're watching in a replay, put it on the comments. I'm really keen to know. I see a lot of people from South Africa, India, UK, South London, Ireland. So it's great to see. You know, I would like to know where you guys are that you're watching. Tom, where can people find you?
You can find me every morning at 8 a.m. over on the Gooner Talk, UK time, doing consistent shows every day. I'll be there tomorrow. Also got a preview show ahead of the Bode Glimt game as well at 6 p.m. And all my written stuff is at Football London. So there you go.
Very good.
Thanks for having me on, Chris.
Pleasure, as always. Mo is obviously away doing a charity bike ride in Pakistan to raise money for the flood people who were affected. I'll get the link off of him and I'll put it on a description so you guys can donate if you wish to do so. Thank you very much again for giving us your time, watching us. It's fantastic this Monday night. So I thoroughly enjoy doing it. Lev, over to you.
Mate, listen, it's been amazing. It's just been pleasant to do these shows this season so far. I don't even know what to say. If you look at the shows from last season and look at us now, it's like, look, long may it continue. Love you guys in the chat. Thanks for being here. I'm looking forward to that Liverpool game. I really want us to continue this sort of level of performance into that game. So thank you for joining us. The Arsenal Lounge. That's Tom. That's Shaheen. Peace. We're out of here.